It is of paramount importance, the king activity in the endgame, particularly because that's when they have to actually become themselves an attacking piece. Now, you have to strive to limit your king's activity, your opponent's king activity in the endgame, not your king's activity. Your king's activity actually has to be increased. So now you need to identify first thing first if there are any gaps in your defenses, any breaches that White King might be taken advantage of. And upon looking like at this particular position here, by the way, we're going to play a few scenarios to increase the understanding. You notice actually that there is like two gaps here, and they might take advantage, particularly of the f4. So once you understand that actually White King wants to take advantage of those gaps, and you actually know what to play next. And yes, you've got it. It's a move like g5. And now you've formed a sort of barrier. Just have a look at this one here, guys. And look how this one really restricts the White's king activity. Okay, so that's a very important concept for you guys to understand. Now, they will try to go around the whole thing in order for them to become active, but now you yourself move your king towards the center of the board. Another principle, try to get your king towards the middle of the action, the center of the board. Okay, so you are limiting your opponents. And now you notice, why did I push the pawn? Simply because there is a bishop supporting the pawn's advancement, and you actually plan on pushing that guy down the board. So you are doing better than white in this position, and step by step you should be able to win, providing the fact you got a pawn majority on the king side, and one of your guys should be at least becoming passed pawn and should be queened. So let's look at the next scenario in our game here. Now, this is a king and pawn versus king ending. How do you think you're supposed to be playing with black here? I know that some of our younger students probably, would be rushing quickly to pushing the pawn and get yourself a queen. But you also have to remember that old principle that we discussed already in the previous lesson, old but actually quite important and, eternally present. Let's put it this one. It's just eternally present because it just reiterates itself again and time and again. It's the promotion square. So if you are to play now h7 to h5, and if you remember my advice and other coaches' advice, always draw a diagonal towards the end of the board, and now you start building up a square. So this is your square, and if you remember, the promotion square says that if your opponent's king steps into the square, they will stop your pawn from promoting. Therefore, knowing that, there's no point pushing that guy because the white king is going to stop it. They will indeed step into the promotion square. So what do you have to do? Bingo, you remembered correctly. You have to limit the white's king activity with your own king. And there you go. Now you deny them access into the promotion square. You need not panic. Just keep marching with your guy very nicely. And now we reached a position in which the white king has only one option, just to go g7. But really, it doesn't really make any difference because then you're going to push confidently 2 steps forwards, and that pawn can't be stopped. It's just going to be promoted because that's illegal, that's illegal, that's illegal. That's totally not playable. Therefore, you're just going to go with your guy and completely unreachable for the white king. So there's nothing they could do. They could go behind the pawn, really, but they can't catch up with them because they're already 1 step forward. All right. That's it. The queen is coming. And not just it's coming with a checkmate, frankly, now, because they have no way to be escaping this deadly attack. That's how you win. Another scenario, my friends, and I hope we're going to be increasing the understanding. And that's one of those things, especially in the end game, because you guys remember, let's say you have advantage at the opening, that is cool. Let's say you play brilliant tactics and you try to, you capitalize, you got yourself a bit of a advantage, maybe pawn, maybe position, that's cool. But if you do not convert the advantage in the end game, everything is to no avail, really. I mean, so you got to take advantage of all these little advantages that you've won throughout the game. Now, we have to pause it a little bit here, guys. Just give it a few seconds and look at this position here. Now you playing with the white pieces, and actually now black. Do you know something? They're also like 3 steps away from promoting themselves, and moreover, they are more than willing to actually sacrifice the rook. So you need to keep that in mind. It's very clear because. So let's say you are tempted to say, well, I'm going to play rook to a8 and then they're going to have to take me. No, they do not. It's also important to stop projecting your wishes towards onto the other player. They don't have to play what you expect them to play. Quite on the contrary. Okay, just ask yourself, what would I play if I were that guy? So if you play now rook a8, hoping that black takes and you take and you got a queen and everything's super easy, well, what if they don't take? And actually, they won't take, because if you play rook to a rook's going to take here, you're going to take here, and trust me, that's going to be a draw here, because the rook is not able to grab this pawn safely. You will have to sacrifice your rook in order to stopping this pawn promotion. Therefore, understanding this, you cut off the black king from supporting the pawn's advancement. So this is very important now, and even if the king goes left, right, up, and down, it doesn't make any difference. Remember, even if they move the rook, then you're going to play your king and forcing, and then rook will have to sacrifice itself. But the king definitely can't support this advancement pawn. King goes for the rook. They take, because obviously you're taking the rook. And now if they go down, you're doing absolutely fine. No reason to getting worried, because now you do attack the pawn. If the king tries to get in closer, doesn't matter, because you just collect the black pawn. And if the pawn goes down the board, you are just stopping it on time. And now that's it. The pawn is gone. You're going to win. I hope you guys remember the king and rook versus king. Right, this one here. What do you think the black king's activity would be? Well, they very much want to take your pawn. You've got a bishop on light squares, but this pawn is on dark squares, so you mustn't allow them to approach the pawn, or you can't promote. And if you cannot promote, you're definitely going to draw, because king and bishop versus king, it's always going to be a draw. So you got to stop them from approaching your pawn. So you already made the barrier. Look at this. Inaccessible, inaccessible, inaccessible. So that is absolutely great here. So that's absolutely phenomenal. And when the king support, you will be promoting that beautiful pawn of yours into a queen, and you would win. What do you think we do here? Well, pause it for a few seconds. I hope you're not going to do a chess bullet very often. And even if you come to this point, you have more than enough time to actually figure out what to play. I hope so very much. Now, notice, guys, that if you push this guy forward, that would be the promotion square, right? Well, if you push that guy, they're going to be stepping absolutely certainly, and you're not going to do nothing. You're absolutely not going to do nothing. You have to block the black king's approach towards your white pawn by playing very nicely g3. You do not allow them to approach your pawn. If they go, from behind, so to speak, they're going to need ages in order to catch up with that pawn. No chance in hell for them to do that. Just don't worry about us. They might be trying desperately, to, just cut off the pawn and stuff like that. But do you allow them? No, you don't. And again, if they want to spend like a 3 tempi, that's fine. You only need 1 to get your pawn protected by the white king. Okay, so now they really persistent. Not a problem. Absolutely not a problem. If they want to go back again, they need a couple of tempi. You only need 1. So you need to understand this principle, because that is the way for you to fundamentally winning. Again, don't push the pawn, because they will, they're going to try and get in front and they're going to draw. Do not allow them. Deny them the access. If they want to play this, you're going to move 2 squares. They play this, you play here. They play this. That's it. Because the king now controls this square, and this square, and promotion is absolutely guaranteed. Let's have a look at this position here. What do you think white wants to do? Well, obviously, they want to march on to h8 and get themselves a queen. What do we do? Well, you could check the king, but it's not going to be a great deal of nothing. The king is going to move down, and it's not how you want to do it. And even if you try to go to the a5, again, the king is going to protect that guy there. Okay, so let's just try to not allow the king to actually moving down the board. Let them move the pawn if they want to. Okay, so and when they move the pawn here, what do you think you're going to do? Then you're going to be attacking the pawn in this fashion. If the king tries to approach, you actually take, and if they go down, the king is going to move over to h6, and you're going to capture that guy. No chance for them to win this. Okay, let's have a look at this scenario as well, my friends. Obviously, the white rook gets itself in front of the black pawn, preventing you from promotion. Okay, now if they take, you're obviously going to take back with the black rook, and then you're going to win. King and rook versus king always wins. Now, they're not going to do this. They definitely need the white king support to exert double attack on the black pawn. So what do? Move your king. Okay, so you move your king. Do not allow them to play this. Of course, the white king tries to go via g2. Do you allow them? No, you mustn't allow them to do that, okay? Mind you, the rook attacks only once, but when you move the king, you deny the white king getting closer. Therefore, they are just standing with one single attacker against your pawn, and you've got no problem whatsoever. King can't move. Illegal, illegal, and illegal. And whatever the king move, it doesn't make a bit of a difference. You're going to cut them off completely. They already cut off, so to speak. And then you can confidently just play the rook here. You either take the rook or they either take you and your queen. I mean, it's just be careful, because if the king actually plays here, you will not be able to get your rook here. But actually, you will be able to push them away with a move like this. Depends where the white king wants to go. So let's go with perhaps the last exercise here. Okay, what have we got then? We've got a pawn up. It's actually absolutely great here. So what do we need to do? First, we need to understand, what does my opponent plan to do? Well, you've got two gaps here. You got one, and probably the most important gap is this one on f4. Why? Because king on f4 wants to take on e4. Ooh, and then just clear the way for this pawn to advance and queen. So what do? You just deny them access, and you're going to play now something like g3, not allowing the black king to play absolutely nothing here. Okay, so whatever they choose to play, it just doesn't make a bit of a difference, because you will be more than able to push this guy, remove this guy, and then get yourself a queen. Whatever they play, it just simply doesn't matter at this stage. White is winning. So guys, I don't want to prolong this video for too long now. I hope it's useful. Amongst other things, check my other videos on endings, middle game, or openings. Join my live streams, and we're going to be discussing more very cool stuff together. Thanks for watching the video, guys, and I'll see you soon.